Stay indoors, son.
Hey, what's going on, guys? LoganJYA, Dry Kage back at it again. You already know what we're doing here. We got Drytron's 50 card list. I don't want to keep you waiting. We're going to dive right into things. Stick around to the tail end. We're going to be doing test hands, playing through interruptions, and putting up some of the biggest boards you've ever seen. If you want to see more stuff like this, hit that like button, comment down below what you want to see next. And without further ado, let's dive in. All right, everybody, you know what it is and you know who it be. We got Drytron for November 2024 back at it again. This deck is extremely confident in the current format, and you're going to be surprised at how many matches you can steal and tournaments you can win with Drytron in 2024. I'm going to run through this list real quick. Before we do, I got to give a huge shout out to Miles. You know who we be. This list heavily inspired by his, and the reason why I love it so much is because you have so many different avenues that you can play through. So if you've seen our previous interview, it's like a 30-minute interview. We talk with Miles and go super in-depth into some of these decisions. This is going to be a bit more of a quick overview of the deck list itself, and then we're going to dive into some test hands, just running through combos, playing through points of interruption, having a darn good time, all right? But without further ado, let's dive into the list. All right, starting things off with the monsters, we got everybody maxed out. That means triple alpha, triple zeta, triple delta, and triple gamma. Oh wait, I forgot somebody. We also got triple Mewtwo in this build as well. Just three of everything, This is a 50 card deck, not 51 cards, 50 cards, a little bit cleaner. Yeah, if we're playing this many cards in the main deck, we gotta max out our names, and we wanna see them. We just wanna see two of them together. This is a 2-card combo deck, whole of hand approach whenever you're playing it out. You never can really think of it as a 1-card combo deck, even though we do have access to them nowadays. If you haven't seen them before, check out the Drytron 101 playlist, you'll find them there. On top of that, though, we've also got the supporting cast member, Mr. Ursartron. I don't think of him as part of the core team because he's got a very different effect. I guess you could say Mewtwo does as well, but he's an important extender, all right? He's going to bridge you into your Fafnir or your Nova in the hands where you don't have them. Moving on to the fairy lineup, we got 2 copies of Diviner and 1 copy of Mr. Vanity's Ruler. So like I said, the thing I loved about Miles' list so much is that there was such a wide variety for the different pathways you could take going through building different end boards. Now, Vanity's Ruler, he ain't the main star of the show, but he's a vital option to have. You're not going to really go for him on turn 0 unless you have to. But to close out a game, let's say you couldn't clear out all your opponent's life points, you had to go for a Zeus play, and you want to put him on a real lockout, throw up the Vanity's Ruler. Simple enough. And of course, again, inspired by Miles, we're playing the 1 of Lancia in the main. Ritual Beast is a real serious deck that we can absolutely obliterate just by searching this 1 card. You want to make it free, search this card, win the match. People are even calling for this card to get banned now because like Shifter, it's got that lingering effect that's hard to beat. Moving on to the rituals, triple copies of Ben 10 and the 1 Natasha. Yeah, didn't want to cut them. Didn't want to cut them for this build, especially considering how many cards we're playing, so we're playing all 3. And the WinCon closeout, clean-out games. Don't summon her the same time you're using Mewtwo because you can't. It's illegal. Next supporting cast member, we got 1 copy of Mr. Beto Buster, and I'll just show it right now, Mr. Magic Key Unlocking that goes along with it. This card is broken in the current format because it's going to blow out your Fiendsmiths, blow out the U-Bells just by changing those attributes. Same thing goes for the Fire King Snake Eye builds too. You can lock them out of some of their most important extra deck pieces just by calling Divine after resolving this card. And then for our Drytron rituals, we got 1 Draconids, and then we got Dad. 1 of each is all you need. But you're going to be going into this guy a heck of a lot of times. He is your anti-Nibiru, he is your main end board piece, and you can resolve him 2 to 4 times depending on if you're able to tag him out and back in. Pretty cool stuff. Spell cards, we got triple copies of Nova. Hopefully this card gets a reprint soon. I don't know why Konami's keeping us waiting so long. 1 copy of Medionis, the ritual spell, you need not play more than 1. And then 2 copies of Fafnir, the field spell. We also got triple copies of Cyber Emergency for added consistency. Careful of those Drolls though, guys. Be sure to play around them as best as you can. You want to have a Dad or your Medionis in hand as fast as possible. That way, if you get hit with the Droll, you're still able to end on multiple monster negates. Moving on to the flex spots, got triple copies of the Book of Eclipse. Again, this is an idea that Miles brought up and my buddy Angel brought up. We interviewed both of them on the channel. You can find the 101 playlist. Broken going second card, but also has the added benefit of being a settable card when you see it going first, or being able to dodge hand traps on things like Moy Beta, Mewtwo, or Diviner. Let's not forget about Forbidden Droplets. Drytron plays Forbidden Droplets better than any other deck because we really don't care about that discard, and we're negating those pain-in-the-butt end boards. Centurion, see ya. Fiendsmith, U-Bell, see ya. Snake Eyes, see ya. Azamina, we don't care. Negate, negate, negate. Got 2 copies of Thrust in the main. We're playing some decent targets for it, like 1 copy of Dark Ruler No More, as well as 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent in the main. Another card you could theoretically search in another flex spot is our friend Foolish Burial. Becomes any name, and sometimes you can use it to dump rituals as well. And then the last spell we got in the main is the 1 copy of Sacked by the Grave, because why would you not want to play Sacked by the Grave? I think this card might be coming back to 2. Let me know if you agree with that in the comments down below. Last card in the main board is the 1 main decked copy of the Feather Storm, another card that has the potential to be banned, but if you don't know why this is in here, if you see this or you see Thrust and you're going through your first turn combo, you get interrupted, guess what? You just make Fuko, set this card, and it's as if you Chaos Max lock them. Pretty filthy stuff. Can you brick on it? Yes. Can you brick in this build in general? Yes. That's one reason why I'm not a huge fan of Miles' build, is because I found myself bricking a lot. But that may be a little bit of the DB algorithm playing into it. I think when you're playing in real life and you're shuffling properly, you can reduce the chances of the clumping and all the nastiness that comes in with a terrible hand. But of course, those things will inevitably happen, so we got to be prepared for them. We got to be prepared to play the long game, and that's another reason why playing such a toolbox build is really, really strong. Moving on into the extra deck, starting things off with the X-Seeds, we got 2 copies of Mr. Moy Beta. Lavavel Chain is banned for a reason, but this isn't an archetypal one, feels pretty strong. And we got both level 1 targets for your Zeus plays as well as your Feather Storm plays. I'm playing both Fuko and Nightingale. Frankly, Miles is right on this one. They're both too good not to play, and they have their own respective scenarios where one is better than the other. We do have room for the 1 downer to make our Zeus a little bit more powerful. Speaking of, here he is, Mr. Zeus. We got to play him. I think Drytron does Zeus better than pretty much any other deck in existence. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Link package time. We got the 1 copy of the Relinquished Anima. You mandatory need to play a Link 1 that you can turn your names into when you're summoning them off of Nova. Even though you end up going for new 2 more oftentimes than not nowadays, you still need the option to tag out an Alpha, stick it in the grave so you can resolve its effect. We also play Nightmare Phoenix. You're going to find yourself needing to blow out some back rows from time to time. This is the way we do it. We don't really care that much about the discard cost. 1 copy of Dynamondo. This card's so sick, and the other added benefit of it is it lets you recycle and reuse your dad. Don't forget about that as a pivotal option. Next, we got IP Masquerena and her gonna be dirt cheap cousin, SP Little Knight, ready to rock and roll. And finally, 1 copy of Access Code Talker. I was gonna play Boral Sword as kind of like a rage against the original build, but I wanted the added spot removal for certain floodgates, so I decided to keep in the access code, even though I don't think it's that great. We're not playing it to blow out games. In fact, in this build, climbing into Boral Sword is sometimes a little bit trickier and unnecessary because you're putting up such big damage with your dad, with your Exceed monsters, and the Drytrons themselves. So you're using it more so for removal. Closing things out in the extra, we got the 1 copy of Entis and the 1 copy of Herald for your Diviner targets, and then you do play the FA Dawn Dragster as the last card. I don't have one right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a card that's also a level 7 that is clearly not Dawn Dragster, so know that this is supposed to be FA Dawn Dragster. I lent mine to a buddy. He's getting it back to me. I couldn't get it in time before filming the video, but I wanted to be sure to let you guys know we are playing the Dawn Dragster. All right, let's bring things to a close with the side deck real quick. First and foremost, you got to have yourself a Drytron Field Center. These are coming back on the market. Stay tuned. I'll do a community post announcement once we have more of them in stock. And I'm going to round through these real quick. We got the other 2 copies of Lancia. Like I said, Ritual Beast is a heck of a deck. Anything that is super reliant on banishing, this gives you that lingering effect, and you can search it. Triple copies of the Sphere mode. I wanted to switch back to Lava Golem, but I couldn't rationalize it given the fact that Promethean Princess still sees play. You got 2 more copies of Dark Ruler No More in the side. Blowing out boards for free. It's like droplets for free. It feels pretty good. The only issue with this one is that there are certain ways that people can dodge it. The additional 2 copies of the Talent for when you're going first. And then we got some 1 of Spicy Choices, the 1 Lightning Storm, the 1 of Harpy's Feather Duster, and the 1 of Evenly Matched. These are all additional thrust targets. You can think of it as if your opponent resolves an effect, you're able to search out one of these with the thrust, so those are your additional copies, 2 and 3 of each of these respective cards. And finally, last thing to close this out, we've got triple copies of the Dimensional Barrier, a freaking crazy blowout. I also think this card is going to be banned someday, but if you want to blow out a fusion matchup, you want to blow out Tempai, look no further than resolving this card. All right, everybody, that is it for the profile, but let's switch on in to some test hands to close things out. All right, everybody, we are going to do some Drytron test hands, the whole of hand approach, and seldom do I ever actually demonstrate this, despite the fact that this is the best way to play the deck, is when you look at everything that you got available to you and you figure out what the best route is to use the cards that are available. So we're going to start off with a random opening hand. We've got a pretty good one to start things off here. A 2-name hand, which of course is what we always want to see, 2 ways to access names, and then we've got a bunch of gas here as well. got the Vanity's Ruler, the Dad Hard Drawn, and the Ben 10, and we've got ourselves a Fafnir and a Foolish. Since we've hard opened with the Dad, I don't feel bad about starting things off with the Fafnir, going straight into a Nova from deck. Search that bad boy out. Even if they ash the Nova, we're still going to be able to set up a Vanity's Ruler, so I'm going to start off with this, and I'm going to go for our boy Mewtwo. I'll do this first one uninterrupted, so we'll have Mewtwo resolve, and since we've already opened up with Fafnir, there's not a lot of value to searching out your Sartron here, so instead we can go for one of our main names, and I think I'm going to grab Zeta first, give ourselves that ritual spell access. So I'll go Zeta effect. I'm going to pitch off Dad here since we're going to summon it back pretty early, and that'll grab us Meteonis out of deck. Next play here, we'll overlay these two bad boys from Moy Beta, use its effect. Even if we got impermed here, it wouldn't be the end of the world because we got the Foolish, we got the Ben 10, we can rock and roll pretty hard afterwards. We're going to send Alpha from deck to grave. Now, of course, we want to play under Nibiru and plenty of other interruptions, so we are going to immediately Meteonis using Moy Beta and its two materials underneath for 6k total attack to summon out Dad and stick him in either the far right or the far left. I'm just going to do the far left so you guys can see it a little better. This will end up in the grave. And next, I'll use Alpha, pitching off that Ben 10, summoning itself back. And here, since we already had access to Dad, I'm going to use this to grab Beto Buster. We'll use Ben 10's effect to search. Here we've got options, right? So we opened up with a Vanity's Ruler. Pretty filthy. If we want to spend our normal summon, we can normal summon Diviner in this turn and go for the Dawn Dragster line. Or we could also hold this for follow-up on the next one. I think we're going to summon our Vanity's Ruler this turn, so I'm going to search out another copy of Ben 10 to use as additional fodder, and we can search our follow-up at a later point. Next, we use Meteonis' effect in grave, reducing that Alpha to add it back to hand. This is all still in hand here. We haven't used any of this yet. And since we are safe from Nibiru or other hand traps that could be problematic, I'm going to go for the Foolish Burial next. I'm going to send Gamma here because I want those extra bodies on field, especially to summon off our ruler. Use that bad boy's effect. And I'm actually going to pitch off the Beto Buster here because we're inevitably going to summon it back. So bring that back out. Summon out the Zeta over here. Next, we'll use Mewtwo's effect in grave since we control plenty of Drytrons. We can summon that joint back for free. Do want to play around the Anima, so I'll stick it right here. Go for another copy of Moy Beta. Use Meteonis. Detach. Summon back from grave. Summon out Beto Buster effect. I was going to search. Grabbing us Magic Key Unlocking. The counter trap, it changes attributes, a spell and trap negate. And set that bad boy in the back row. That'll be in grave. We used it twice. And then to wrap up our board here, Tribute 2 for the Mighty Vanity's Ruler. Only because we hard opened it. Normally not go for this, we'd probably go for the Diviner, and then we'd end on a Dawn Dragster and maybe with an IP Masquerena on top of all this. But this board is too filthy to lose, you know what I mean? If we have the option to go for Beto Buster, Magic Key Unlocking, and Vanity's Ruler, that feels very strong, especially if we're still playing safe underneath the Nibiru. Yeah, man, this is looking good to me. So what do we got here? We got one spell and trap negate off of the unlocking, so this can deal with your droplets or your Dark Ruler if the opponent's got it. We also got another one locked and loaded here underneath the Moy Beta, since we got two different machine rituals on the field. Then we've got two monster effect negate and destroys off of Dad, and then obviously we've got the Vanity's Ruler providing that full blanket special summoning negation or inability to do so, and we've got guaranteed follow-up with that Ben 10 in hand. So this is a pretty good, strong starting board. Let's do something else. Let's play through some interrupts. All right, everyone, we're gonna move into our next test hand now, giving this a pretty good shuffle. Give it a final cut. Let's see how we open. We got another Ben 10, Alpha, Natasha, Droplet, and Zeta. So Alpha Zeta, the dream is alive. I will say it with the big caveat of if you're playing with one name hands post Beatrice ban, it's a little bit trickier than it used to be, but I still think we're pretty good to go even if we did eat an ash off of the Alpha in this scenario. I'm not going to demonstrate that one for you right now. That's not the point of interruption I want to play through, but if we did get hit with an ash on Alpha, we could use Zeta's effect, pitch off the Ben 10, search off Meteonis, get the Ben 10 effect to search so that can grab us a copy of Vanity's Ruler, and then we can use the Meteonis, tribute off the Alpha from our hand to summon back the Ben 10 we tributed from grave, tribute both of those for the Vanity's Ruler, and then we get another search for follow-up off of the Ben 10. So I'm just going to explain that one to you real quick. That's not going to be the point of the interruption that we play through right now. I'm going to use the Alpha here. Since we already opened the Ben 10, we can use it to search the Beto Buster. Next, we use that Zeta effect in grave. If they bestialed us here, we would still be able to get the Diviner, and that can give us access to Meteonis to summon the Beto Buster still, or we can summon a Dawn Dragster. We would have options. But again, not the point of interruption. I'm going to play through right now. Use it, grab Meteonis, Ben 10 effect search, grab Diviner. So here we're going to normal summon the Diviner and use its effect before going for the Moy Beta. And If they're unwise, they'll hit us with the imperm here. Probably better in this scenario to hit us with the imperm on the Moy Beta. They don't know how many names we're holding in hand though, so I can understand them thinking that this is a decent choke point. We'll say we get hit with the imperm on the diviner in this situation, and that's gonna be completely fine for us. Overlay these two into another Moy Beta. Now, if we got hit with an imperm again on the Moy Beta, things are looking a little bit trickier. And it would probably end up being Beto Buster plus unlocking pass with the set droplets. But we're gonna say they hit us with it on the diviner and we're able to resolve the Moy Beta. That can send our new 2 from deck to grave. This is another card that's gonna eat a lot of imperms for you. Use its effect to summon itself back, effect search, and that'll grab us your Drytron. Now here we do have a choice if we wanna play more conservatively underneath the Nibiru. I'm gonna search Dad here, just play safe as possible. I'll go Medionis. I'm gonna use the new 2, the Beto Buster in hand, and 1 material off of the Moy Beta. And that'll let us summon out Dad here on the right. Next, I'll reduce the Moy Beta's attack on field, add this back to hand. We'll activate it again. We'll use the other material that's underneath it. Use that to summon back to Beto. Use Beto's effect to search. Stick that back here. And then we can link these 2 off. And go up into the IP on the top. Set that along with the droplets. We got the Natasha in hand and a stacked graveyard names for follow-up. We got 3 targets engraved to banish for Dad for negates. So they give us up to like 3. And we still have a Dynamondo spin too if we want to use that. All right, let's do another one. All right, y'all, for this next test hand, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give the deck a good shuffle, give it a cut, but before we look at the opening, we're gonna say that the opponent drops the Mulcharmy draw card, the one that lets you draw when you summon from deck or extra. We're gonna say they drop that in our standby phase or our draw phase or whatever, you know, to play around talents. Makes sense, right? I don't own that card, so we're just gonna use Max C for the point of demonstration here. And we're gonna try to give them as few draws as possible, depending on what the hand is. Now, if we miraculously open up with Call by the Grave, I'm just gonna stick it on the bottom, but this hand right here, ooh, oh my, look at that! The Call by is in there, so if we did have it, that'd be great, but we're gonna say that we didn't open with that card, and we'll just put in something else here. Look at that, another name, ooh, phenomenal. We are gonna be able to cook them even through that by only giving them probably 1 to 2 draws at most. We did open with Nova, we could choose not to use it. You know, with this hand, yeah, let's not use Nova. Let's try and not use Nova, and we'll give them 1 less draw. I think we're only going to give them 1 total. So we'll go for Emergency first, grab Zeta, and in case they had something like an Imperm, Ash, whatever the heck, maybe I'll normal summon Diviner first. If they hit us with an Imperm here, we might have to use the Nova, but then, of course, that's just replacing one of the cards that they already had. But I'll use that, pitch off the Herald, effect search. Use that to search Dad. Go Zeta effect, pitch off Delta, search. Grab us Medionis. And go Delta effect, pitch off Dad. Special, get the free draw, get 1 more cut. Cool, talent. Which would be useless if they use that thing and nothing else. No big deal. Overlay these 2 from Moy Beta. Moy Beta effect. Take a dump. Yup. Send off Mr. New2, which hopefully we get the OTS ulti of. Now we got to think about it. How many draws are we willing to give them? We give them 1 off this. They got 1 draw off this. We could just go Dad pass and call it a day. Dad pass and then search a few more with new 2. If we want to give them 2 more, we got options. We got options. We'll go Medionis first, so we're playing around Nib. Pitch these all off, summon off Daddy. New 2's affecting Grave, special summon himself. Effect search. We already got Fafnir Nova, and we're actually holding him to try and not give more draws. Let's search Alpha instead, because then we can end on more interruptions and give them less draws. And you'll see what I'm saying in a sec. We can go Alpha, pitch off the new 2, search out Beto Buster, Medionis, use the Alpha, special summon him out, get the search for the trap, and then we're ending on Spell and Trap negate plus 2 monster negates with the attribute change off the Magic Key unlocking, only giving them 1 draw. And then we have guaranteed follow-up. We were holding the Nova and the Fafnir. And of course, there's infinite number of ways you can play this out. If they had other forms of interruption, say you got Impermed on Diviner, yeah, you're probably going to want to redeem the Nova. Or you got Impermed on Moy Beta, same deal. Sure, they used 1 card, you're going to give them another one, is what it is. But in this situation, choosing to play conservatively, we can still end on 2 monster effect negates and a Spell and Trap negate with the attribute change off of the Magic Key unlocking. I want to do 1 more test hand and just go let it rip, no interrupts, just for fun. All right, everybody, last one, best one. Let's have fun with it. We're just gonna let it rip. We'll see how good we start with. Go to final cut. Give it 1 more riffle and 1 more, why not? There we go. We're net rigging it here. Open it up. Oh, that's a strong start. Multiple Moy Betas, excuse me, multiple new 2s, but not bad. Hand like this, I'm gonna hold the Nova play, and I'm gonna start off by going Zeta, pitch new 2. Oh, there's Medionis. New 2 effects coming back, effect search. No reason again to go for your Sartron here because we already opened up with the Fafnir. Wouldn't do much for us. Although, important thing to note, if your Zeta gets stopped and you're still able to resolve a new 2, you can bridge into your Sartron, which can get you into Medionis or Fafnir into Medionis in case you need to. Just something I wanted to flag. I'm gonna grab Gamma to hand. Normal summon Diviner. Effect. Send off our Herald. Search. Grab Dad. We'll overlay 2. Moy Beta effect. Send Alpha. We gotta respect the nib. We'll go Medionis. Even though we're saying we're not getting interrupted, we'll be smart here, and we'll summon Dad first. There we go. Now we're using our brains. We got infinite materials anyway, so why do we care? Go Alpha, pitch Gamma, summon that guy out, search. Now we can grab Beto Buster. I'll sync these 2 guys off. Again, I mentioned this in the profile. My Dawn Dragster is on loan right now, so Zoa is our boy, okay? This is Dawn Dragster. He's another random butt level 7, but he gets the job done, okay? We know what he's there for. We know what he's doing. Next, I'll go Gamma's Effect Engrave, pitch, special itself in any name, Medionis, reduce, add back. We'll activate the Fafnir here, grab our Nova, use the Nova, special out Delta, very good. Link 2, go for IP on top, then we can go Delta Effect Engrave, pitch off that new 2 from hand, special summon itself back, get the free draw. Cool. We're not going to use it, don't worry. We'll overlay these 2 joints. Go for Moy Beta, Moy Beta. No, we already sent, so we're just using it for the materials. Detach. Let's detach that Alpha. Might want that one a little bit more. And we'll use that to summon back the Beto Buster that we pitched earlier. Like so. And give us a search. And that'll grab us Magic Key Unlocking. This really is like the uninterrupted full nut board with the new 2 build. I don't know if I did it in the most efficient way, but this is like as good as it gets, you know what I mean? So let's do a head count here. We've got the Spell and Trap negate and attribute change, you know, your droplets, your Dark Ruler negation with the Magic Key Unlocking. You got another Spell and Trap negate here with your Moy Beta. You got another Spell and Trap negate over here with your Dawn Dragster. And you got 1, 2 monster effect negate and destroys off of Dad. But then you tag it out with your IP. You go for Mr. Dynamondo on the top. And then you can tag his ass back out. Like so, you sack them off, bring them back, and then you got another 2, and we got tons of names in the grave here. So you got, look at that. Look at all that you got to work with. So you can negate up to 4 times with Dad. Absolutely insane. So that is gonna be it for today's Drytron video. The Dry Kage is so grateful for you guys coming to hang out for this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss any more Yu-Gi-Oh content. We're always uploading some of the most nostalgic decks you're ever gonna find, or of course the greatest deck of all time, that being Drytron. And yeah, guys, without further ado, I'm gonna round things off here. LoganJYA signing off. Have a great day. We'll see you beautiful people later. Peace.